It started on an ordinary Tuesday morning. My husband, Daniel, spread butter across a slice of toast and said, almost casually, I want a divorce. There was no argument, no warning, just one quiet sentence that shattered 9 years of marriage. I stood at the kitchen counter holding our 6-year-old daughter's cereal bowl, trying to understand what I had just heard. What? I whispered. Daniel didn't even look guilty. He simply shrugged. I don't want a wife who doesn't work anymore, he said. I need someone who has ambition. His words stung more than I expected. For years, he believed I spent my days doing nothing but grocery shopping, cleaning the house, and taking care of our daughter. He never bothered to ask why my phone rang before sunrise or why I sometimes disappeared into my home office for hours. He assumed I had nothing important to do. The truth was very different. While raising our daughter, I had quietly built a successful online consulting business. I worked with companies around the world under my own company name. My income was over $500,000 a year, but I never talked about it because I preferred a peaceful family life over showing off my success. Daniel never cared enough to notice I've already met someone else, he continued. My heart skipped a beat. Someone else. Before he could answer, the guest room door opened. My best friend, Paige, walked into the kitchen wearing Daniel's shirt. She looked at me with tears in her eyes. Double quotes BRAL Allie. Please don't make this harder than it already is. For a few seconds, nobody spoke. The smell of fresh coffee filled the room. While my entire world collapsed around me. I carefully placed my daughter's cereal bowl on the counter before I dropped it. 9 years of marriage, 12 years of friendship, destroyed. In a single morning, Paige stepped closer. It wasn't planned, she whispered. I almost laughed. Affairs don't happen by accident. People make choices every single day. I looked at Daniel. What do you want? A clean divorce, he replied immediately. We'll sell the house, share custody, and move on. The word clean sounded almost insulting. Nothing about this was clean. I nodded quietly and excused myself. Inside my office, I closed the door and opened an email my accountant had sent earlier that morning. The subject read, Urgent Financial Review. I expected a routine update. Instead, I found pages of financial documents connected to Daniel. 3. Credit cards. To personal loans. 1. Investment account. Together they carried more than $200,000 in debt. I stared at the numbers in disbelief. Daniel had always acted successful. He bought expensive watches, wore tailored suits, and insisted on luxury vacations. I assumed his consulting business paid for everything. It didn't. He had been borrowing money for years. Even worse, several loan applications listed assets that didn't belong to him. Some of those assets were connected to our marriage. It looked as though he expected to receive a large financial settlement after divorcing me. I leaned back in my chair. This wasn't simply an affair. It was a carefully planned escape. Just then my phone rang. Paige. I almost ignored the call, but something told me to answer. Daniel doesn't know I found the storage unit, she whispered. What storage unit? A few months ago, he asked me to help move some boxes. He said they were old business files. Yesterday, I went back to find a document, and they weren't business files. My pulse quickened. What did you find? Her voice became even quieter. Evidence. An hour later, we met at a crowded coffee shop across town. Without saying a word, Paige slid a small silver key across the table. I made a copy, she said. I looked at her carefully. Why are you helping me now? Her eyes filled with regret. Because I think Daniel has been lying to both of us. That evening, I unlocked storage unit. For 1-7. Inside were dozens of neatly labeled boxes. Every label was written in Daniel's handwriting. I opened the first folder. My stomach turned. There were printed emails, financial records, legal articles, private notes, and photographs. Then I found a black notebook. Every page described Daniel's divorce plan. Convince Brielle she's financially Weak. Hide personal debts. Push for a quick settlement. Keep control of valuable assets. Mary Page. Start over. My hands trembled as I turned the final page. One sentence had been written in large letters. Never let Brielle discover the Mercer account. I photographed every page before putting everything back exactly where I found it. Then I called my accountant. The Mercer account, I said. He became silent. After a long pause, he finally spoke. Where did you hear that name? I found it in Daniel's notebook. He sighed. Brielle, Mercer isn't a bank account. It's a private investment partnership. So, Daniel listed it as one of his future assets. I frowned. But he doesn't own it. I know. Within minutes, he emailed more documents. The records showed forged signatures, fake ownership claims, and false financial statements. Daniel hadn't only hidden debt, he had lied to lenders and investors. His financial problems were far worse than I imagined. The next morning, another email arrived. This time it came from a law firm. One of Daniel's biggest clients had already started investigating his financial records. Someone had noticed the inconsistencies. I immediately forwarded every document from the storage unit to my attorney. An hour later, she called. Brielle, whatever you do, don't warn Daniel. I wasn't planning to. The notebook changes everything, she replied. His entire strategy depended on rushing you into a quick divorce before anyone looked closely at his finances. The following morning, Daniel arrived at the house carrying flowers. He smiled as though nothing had happened. I think we can handle this peacefully, he said. I placed a photocopy of one notebook page on the table. His smile disappeared instantly. The color drained from his face before he could speak. His phone rang. He answered nervously. Within seconds, his expression changed from confidence to panic. His largest client had ended their contract. The investigation was expanding. His loans were being reviewed. Everything built on lies was falling apart. When he hung up, he looked at me with fear instead of pride. Brielle, he whispered, we can fix this. I looked at him calmly. Months earlier, he had decided I was worthless because he believed I didn't have a career. He never cared enough to ask who I really was. Now it was too late. During the divorce, every hidden debt, every false statement, and every fraudulent document became part of the legal record. Daniel left the marriage carrying obligations instead of rewards. Paige ended their relationship before the divorce was finished. Later, she apologized. She didn't ask for forgiveness. She only accepted responsibility for her choices. I appreciated her honesty, but our friendship was over. Some betrayals cannot be repaired. A year later, my business was stronger than ever. My daughter was happy. Our home remained ours. Life became peaceful again. In the end, the greatest victory wasn't watching Daniel lose everything. It was discovering that I had never needed him to succeed in the first place.